A very good evening, and thanks for clicking on to the 64th edition of the Global Weather and Climate Report. Slightly later edition today. My wife and I were at the Callum Beattie concert last night in Strathpeffer, and what a job we had trying to even get to Strathpeffer. Only one way in and out due to flooding across many parts of this area, thanks to the return of the frontal system associated with Storm Babet. And we did have over the 72-hour period. Sorry, I'm just not going to fly away. Over the 72-hour period, we received here at Marfogan Weather HQ 109.73 millimeters of rain within a 72-hour period. So on Thursday we had 43.69, Friday 10.61, and Saturday we had the epic 55.43 millimeters of rain. Now this is a little bit of a rain shadow area. The predominant westerly flow tends to get a little bit wrung out as the moisture gets essentially sucked up by the Torridon Hills, and by the time it reaches here it tends to not be quite as wet in this general area. But of course with an easterly flow we had a very, very wet day yesterday indeed. Very difficult to get that amount of rain here in this particular region, about 14 miles roughly north of Inverness. The first time around when we had the frontal system, actually, it was astonishing the rain shadow effect produced by the Cairngorm Plateau, where Inverness essentially had no rain, and yet 14 miles north, with that flow going around the Black Isle up through the Cromarty Firth, we had over 2 inches of rain here at the house. So pretty amazing stuff actually over the last few days. Of course, wind gusts in excess of 77 miles per hour at Inverbervie, 112 miles an hour over Cairngorm Summit. It has been a very impressive day and over the last few days with rainfall here. Let me know in the comments section below what you thought of Storm Babet. Did you get much impact where you are? I did see one particular comment saying that it only affected a very small area. Stop going on about it. But it actually affected quite a big area of the UK, and also Ireland, down across southern Ireland in particular. Very, very nasty flooding situation there. We had a lot of rain even across southern portions of England and Wales, up into the Midlands, East Anglia, and in Northern England got hit by, in some places, in excess of 100 millimetres of rain as well. So a very significant rainfall event on top of what we've seen back on the weekend, or the first weekend of October. We had an epic rainfall event, which I believe was the wettest 2-day period on record for Scotland. So pretty remarkable October. It's been really incredible actually. And there's a yellow warning for ice across northern areas of the British Isles tonight. So, yeah, it's been a very, very impressive October weather-wise, that's for sure. What impact that may have later down the road in terms of what we're seeing with the increase in rainfall during the second half of summer, the first half of autumn here, do we find this could be a telltale sign with all this rainfall? Is this where the winter trough is going to set up? Or it may not be the case. We may have another 2015 where you have a hose pipe of moisture driving in from the subtropical and tropical Atlantic into the British Isles, providing more and more flood events as El Niño continues to develop now. We'll have a look at El Niño in the coming week as well, because there is some telltale signs that we're seeing weakening of the warm waters over the eastern Pacific, that focus being more over central areas of the Pacific Ocean. That is some sources saying that, but I'm not necessarily buying into that fully with regards to that type of scenario. And also, of course, be sure to check out the channel with the playlist of Winter 2023-24. There's content now starting to grow with regards to the winter ideas that I'm developing here. And, in the coming weeks, I'm going to be providing winter update number 3, which will provide a little bit of an actual forecast in terms of where I think this winter is going to go. So do stay tuned to the channel and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already done so. Sitting on 5,230 subscribers. Massive appreciation. Thanks for the recent super thanks as well by a couple of folks as well. So I greatly appreciate people's donations and support. I do hold down a full-time job. I work overnight Monday night to Friday night into Saturday morning. So I am quite busy generally, but I am working very hard to provide you with 7 days a week videos and unique weather content here on the channel. So anyway, the tropical Atlantic still active. We've got the Hurricane Tammy actually just to the north of the Leeward Islands here at a 70 knot or 80 mile per hour storm. Hurricane pressure at the 992 millibars here, moving in a northwesterly direction at 8 knots or 9 miles per hour. Now, if we look at Tammy, the projected track of Tammy looks to go northwards over the North Atlantic towards Bermuda as we press through the course of the upcoming work week here. So it's a slow mover, and it doesn't appear to be affecting any large land area over the next several days here. Bermuda looks to be the only place that it will possibly impact. Here is the current sea surface temperature anomalies around the world at the moment. Very, very strong cooling off the Sumatran coast of Indonesia, as you can see here, continuing with a positive Indian Ocean dipole. We've also, of course, got the El Niño over the East Pacific, and we have got a little bit of a weakening of the cold waters over the Gulf of Alaska. We're starting to see temperatures warming here just to the south of the Alaskan coast, west of British Columbia as well. And we also still have that holding on, clinging on to that negative PDO with the cold waters extending to the south, the strip to the south of the Hawaiian Islands. We've also got a little bit of cooling taking place, especially off the east coast of the United States, as you can see here. But we've got general cooling here over the central slice of the North Atlantic, which is quite interesting. Those very warm waters extend from the Canaries up towards the UK. Likely a fuel to the amount of rain that we've seen in the last couple of months, that's for sure. The storm track generally being southward displaced thanks to that negative NAO pattern. So, of course, you've got the southward displaced jet. That's been forcing a little bit of upwelling of those colder waters deep below the surface up towards the surface. Could that be a slight tripole over the North Atlantic? That remains to be seen. But as we look at the El Nino in general, we'll just kind of skirt over this. You can see here the difference in water temperature anomalies over the last 7 days here. In general net cooling, as you can see here, especially over waters surrounding Europe here, Baltic Sea, North Sea, parts of the Mediterranean, we've seen cooling taking place over the last 7 days. North Atlantic and North Pacific. General warming actually across parts of the North Atlantic, but notice the cooling taking place surrounding the UK, Bay of Biscay, surrounding Iberia. We've also got arguably a little bit of cooling taking place over the tropical Pacific Ocean, which could be critical as we move towards the winter season. Cooling over the Indian Ocean, as you can see here as well, which is quite interesting. So yeah, interesting times to come as we go forward here. This is the current global temperature anomalies, and you can see very strong warming over Russia and over North America. Also, a lot of warmth probably associated with the El Nino over the northern portions of South America. Cooling across the central swathe of Australia for up until this point, so the 22nd of October. We've got some interesting cooling over the central swathe of Australia. I do know there's a few subscribers watching from Australia and also from New Zealand as well. We've got some warmer than average October temperatures in New Zealand. But notice here, Western Australia and Eastern Australia, we've got warmer than average temperatures overall. Interesting that cooling over southwestern China, that has been quite prevalent over recent months actually. A good part of this year we've actually seen below average temperatures. Also Northern Africa and northern portions of Europe firmly below average. Alaska below average, which is quite interesting. Let's have a look and see specifically at Europe and see what it's showing here. So we've got a general warmer than average theme across the heart of mainland Europe. Scandinavia stands out as quite a cold month so far in October, and we've got average conditions now across Scotland. Be interesting to see what happens over the final week or so of October to see whether we can actually get slightly below average temperatures starting to show up over parts of northern UK. But it's going to be a warmer than average October generally speaking. And of course, we've had a very wet October overall as well. Let's look at Australia and hone in on this here. So below average across the central swathe, very warm compared to average across Western Australia. If you notice here, we have had some record-breaking temperatures in Perth in recent times, and to the north of Perth, we've had some very, very hot conditions as well. And parts of Eastern Australia, warmer than average. Tasmania, average conditions overall. Let's have a look at Asia and hone in on that. Very, very warm conditions across northern portions of Asia at the moment here. There's that area of blue. We've had tremendous amounts of rain across northern India in recent times, and that has been having an effect on the temperatures. Extreme rainfall thanks to some tropical activity moving into eastern China. Japan has seen slightly cooler temperatures now coming down after that remarkable hot July, August, September. It's just been relentless heat both day and night across many parts of Japan, and I'm fortunate enough to, health permitting, my wife and I will be visiting Tokyo, flying out on the 6th of November. So very, very excited about that, to get to see Japan for 10 days. I'm really looking forward to that, I must say. Let's have a look and see what North America is showing with regards to the warmth. A lot of warmth, as you can see here, across most of the continent, with the exceptions of southeastern United States and also Alaska. Africa, we can see here that we've had quite a lot of cool across parts of Libya and down into sub-Saharan Africa. The Sahel region of Africa has been below average as well here. Madagascar, warmer than average. Most of the Middle East, warmer than average, with the exceptions of Turkey into northern portions of Syria, or Iraq, actually. In fact, sorry, it's Iraq. So let's have a look and see what the extremes have taken place around the world before we close off with today's. In fact, before we do that, let's have a look and see what the difference is. Niño region 1.2. So this is the area right close to the South American coast. You can see here the drop off in temperature anomaly, thanks to the weakening of the El Nino in this part of the Pacific Basin. Looking at Niño region 3.4, we continue to see a kind of steady off, leveling off actually of temperature at around 1.3 Celsius above the average here, which is quite interesting. So that indicates that we're getting closer to a central Pacific based El Nino, or a Modoki El Nino, which could hold quite the wild card with regards to the winter pattern. The type of blocking that we may see over the northern hemisphere as we move towards the winter months is going to be crucial. El Nino years tend to have colder middle and second halves and a warmer start to the winter, but we'll look at that in a little bit more detail in the coming next couple of weeks here on the channel, of course. So this is quite an incredible video here, actually posted by Jim Yang. This is with a cyclone making impact on Oman in the Middle East. So you can see here the floodwaters running through this village. Quite remarkable stuff here. Quite a sad situation, of course, for the folks here. But we've had some tremendous amounts of rain, by the way, in parts of China, thanks to, I think it was a typhoon or a subtropical system that moved into the east coast and provided 270 millimeters of rain within a 24-hour period, and a maximum rainfall in excess of 800 millimeters, which is pretty remarkable stuff, actually. And it really kind of goes to show that as impressive as our rainfall has been over the last 3 days, with some places well in excess of 200 millimeters, we've had parts of the world that have seen double, triple, even 4 times that amount of rain. And it really goes to show, actually, look at this scene here, remarkable stuff. 460 millimeters of rain falling within a day. We had 355 within a 6-hour period, and some remarkable rainfall totals of 100 millimeters per hour. So it just shows you the incredible nature of rainfall in more tropical parts of the world. And we certainly have seen some incredible scenes in recent times. I'm going to cut this short because I'm actually feeling a little bit tired today. But do be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm going to have a lot of content coming up, looking at the rest of October, into November, and beyond that in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Bye.